use my calculator. Well, that's fine. You can use your calculator. But some of these questions have 15 or 20 numbers in it. And when that happens, you can easily copy and paste the numbers into Excel. And if you already have a sheet made for 20 numbers, or if you already have a sheet made for 10 numbers, then all you have to do is copy and paste. Now, most of the ones that I'm going to try to give you on the test will be 5 to 7 numbers. I'm not going to sit here and try to get you to arbitrate the numbers for the NASA Space Shuttle. I'm not going to do that. All right? And I think it's kind of, out of the box to give you 25 numbers on a test, and they go to the 10,000th place. That's just ridiculous. So what I usually do is give you 5 or 6 questions on the test that, are whole numbers, usually anywhere from 5 to 8 numbers, just so you can do the quartiles. Now, the only time I will give you 12, 15 numbers, there might be one question on the test, and it'll ask for the quartiles. And we're going to go into that after we go over questions today, because that's pretty much the last section, quartiles and z-scores. And we're going to cover that. And when we get to the z-scores, that is a flag that should go up to everybody that the next class, whenever I go over z-scores, the next class will be a review over the z-score section, the last section. And it will be the day that I pull up the test and let you see the test, and I do the dates and tell you all about the test and how many questions, and which all of that's on the My Labs Plus. You don't have to ask me, but you will, and I won't answer you. But it's on My Labs Plus. When you click on Unit 1 test, it'll say, you have so many attempts, you have this much time, it's due on these dates, you have so many questions, so that way you don't have to ask me all that stuff. But you will. And, I'm just trying to save you a little bit of time. Now, after we go through the test and I show you the test questions, and it's not going to be the same test that you take. I'm not that stupid, okay? Let me tell you how I set up my test. Let's say I give a test of 10 questions. Most of my tests are 25 or 30 questions because I want to give you a good chance to make. I don't like giving, okay, you got 2 questions on the test. You get them both right, you pass. No, I don't like doing that. So I try to give 20 to 33 questions. And, of course, 10 to 15 of them are what kind of questions? I did show you all the test, didn't I? Bonus questions, right? What's Hubert's phone number and email address? Okay, so if I give you a test with 25 questions, how much are they apiece? 4 points apiece. If I give you 10 of those bonus questions, everybody should make a what? 40 and above. Do they? We have people that still makes 25, 32s. We even had a student make a 12 on my test. Probably one of those people that do drugs or eat Tide, or what is it, Tide? Yeah. We want legalization of marijuana throughout the United States, and we got people out there eating Tide. Yeah, man, let's make people even stupider. I'm sorry. I don't think now is a good time for us to legalize drugs in America when our IQ of our students coming out of high school is about averaging -5, okay? And I'm sorry, most of y'all are not in that group. I understand that. But we got some dumbasses out there, okay? And I'm sorry. I just don't believe that we should do that. I'm sorry. Let's just go ahead and just legalize everything. That way everybody could just run into trees. And I'm sorry. Now, I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about people that ain't got no sense. The Tide eaters, the ones that take a piece of plastic, put it in their mouth with chemicals in it, and eat it. It's your fault. What?
I believe that's just natural selection.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think and I know you're gonna think, but sometimes it's less people to worry about, and I hate to say that, but if you're dumb enough to put a chemical that cleans clothes in your mouth, all right, I'll shut up. I'm sorry. That just blows my mind. Stupidest thing I ever did was jump ramps with a motorcycle, and these people eating Tide, and I just don't understand it. All right, I'm just going to go down 3.2. So here's 3.2, number 23/9. Of course, that's 23 in the book, number 9 online. Oh, I was telling you how to do this, and I'll do this. The test, let's say I do 10 questions on your test, which is not going to happen, but I'm just using 10. For each of those questions, in MyLabs Plus, I have anywhere from 15 to 25 questions for that question to pull from. You see what I'm saying? So number 1 may have 15 questions over here to pull from. Number 2 may have 10 to 15 questions. Number 3 may have 10 to 15 questions. MyLabs Plus also algorithmically generates. What does that mean? It means that you may have a question that has 7x, and number 1, but you may have a question in number 5 that says -5x. It's the same type question, but it algorithmically regenerates. The next time you take the test, you may not have that question, or it may be -10x and it may be 2x. It's going to change each time. Each test reorders itself. So if you're sitting beside your best friend and you're taking the test downstairs in the lab, there is no way their test is going to look like your test. Okay? So you can try to cheat, and you can cheat. There's going to be people that cheat. Okay? You can do that. Because eventually, somebody's going to get you. What do I mean by that? Somebody's going to get you in trouble? No. Some class is going to get you. You're going to fail a class because you can't cheat in it, and you can't do the math, or you can't do whatever. You'll get caught eventually. So I'm not worried about the 10% that's going to do that. But the ones that legitimately try to learn in the class, you're going to have a good chance each time because it's the similar questions, but they regenerate to save the actual copying from each other, okay? So that's how I do the test. As far as this goes, let's go ahead and do one. This is number 9 online. Okay, now this is a prime example of one that I would give you for quartiles. Now, I might put this one on the test, but the only reason I put it on a test is for quartiles, and there's 2 easy ways to do it. One is the Excel spreadsheet. That is the easiest way to do it for those that can use the Excel spreadsheet. Those that cannot, you'll have to punch every one of those in your calculator. Now, what I suggest you do, if you want to use your calculator, if you're one of those calculator drill teams that spins it around on your finger like a basketball, then put them in order on the Excel spreadsheet and then punch them in. Okay? Because if you try to put them in order by hand, it'll take you 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, the normal person, unless you're Rain Man, it's going to take you a few minutes to put those in order. The further the decimal point, the longer it takes. So I would suggest putting it in the Excel spreadsheet. Now, I don't have a spreadsheet with how many of these? 50? With 50 in it. Did she just take herself out, or did she get taken out? And that don't happen very often. Lord, I hope she don't have a boyfriend. Okay. Hopefully she'll come back. If not, then she left. All right. So I'm going to hit this little button right here. Now, Miss Nolan, I brought you in just in case you got cut off. Hit that button right here, and you can do 2 or 3 things. Let's say you don't have a spreadsheet application on your computer, but you do. It's called Office 365. Everybody's got it. If you're too lazy to get it, then that's not my problem, but I showed you how to get it, gave you a handout. If you can't do that, then I'm sorry. Okay, so if you don't have it and you're too lazy to get it, then you can open it in StatCrunch. But I don't spend a lot of time on StatCrunch, so you got to figure it out yourself, okay? It works like a glorified spreadsheet, but you can do that if you want to. You can copy to clipboard. Now, if this was 5 numbers, then I would copy it and put it in my spreadsheet that I've already done for 5 numbers. I'd put it in order first, and then I'd pop it in, okay? I'll show you how to do that. And then you can open in Excel. Now, this is one I'm going to open in Excel because I don't have an Excel spreadsheet with 20. So I open it. Now, I realize there's 3 kinds of people in this classroom. 1, I have no freaking idea what Excel is. All right? I doubt that very seriously because y'all are high school students. There's hardly any T-Rexes in here, okay? Unlike Tri-County Tech, where we still got people writing their whole email in the subject line of the email. All right? But there are people that choose not to use it, but have been exposed to it. And if you're the second person, you've been exposed to it, you remember some things, but you don't know everything. Okay? And then there's the people that invented it. All right? If you're one of those people that know it, that's good. If you're one of the people that invented it, well, just be quiet. All right? So there's really 4 kinds of people. So I'm talking to the people that could use it or more. If you're one of the people that I don't know how to use it, then just use your calculator or do it by hand. But this problem, it'll take you probably the whole test to do it by hand. So just try to use your time wisely. All right, so there they are. Now the first thing you do with data when you get it is what? Sort it. Put it in what? Order. So you hit that, and then you go up here to move that thing out of the way. Move it right about there, I guess. And go to data and sort. Well, sort. There it is. And then you go over here and you type in, and it's up to you what you want to type. Mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, and variance, and standard deviation. And the first thing students are going to say is, Hubert, it didn't ask for all that. I don't care. All right? What's the whole purpose for you to be in the class? To what? To learn. The best way to learn is repetition. So if you do all of those things for each one of the problems that you get to have numbers in it, then by the time you finish all your homework, you'll be good at whatever the question is asking for. Okay? I know some of y'all that have LAD don't like that because you have to actually do extra what? Work. But it pays off at the end. It's kind of like wearing weights when you run. You take the weights off, you should be able to what? Run faster. It's the same concept. You do all these things for each one of your problems, then by the time you get through doing all your homework, you're able to answer any question that they give you. So, let's go ahead and do the mean. The mean is the summation. So let's go back to home. Now, I'm doing this for presentation. If you want to write it down in your notes, that's good. I don't know what y'all know and what you don't know as far as Excel, so I'm just going to wing it and just tell you to do what you want to. So there's the sum of all these numbers, and it's divided by what? 50, because the question said 50 numbers. And there's your mean. Oops, there it is. All right. What is the median? Well, we got to get number 24 and number 20, or 25 and 26, right? So 25 and 26, there they are. So I'm going to highlight them. And that means we got 24 up here and should have 24 down here. Or is it 24 and 25? No, it's 20. Yeah, should be. Yeah. All right. Now go up here. And, you know, I can do basic math, and I realize that the average is 0.85. I got a degree, okay? So I don't need anybody saying, why don't you just put 0.85? The whole point is to understand that when you have an even amount, what do you do to the two numbers? You take the average, all right? So you need to get in that. Again, I'm talking to the people that don't know or a little bit not familiar. So equals, parentheses, 25 plus 26, close parentheses, divided by what? 2. Good job. And there's your mode. I don't care about. You find the mode. I'm not going to sit here and go through there and find the mode. I see a 0.82. I see a 0.83. I see a 0.84. It looks like 0.84, but I'm not going to sit here and count all those things. You can do that. And if you miss it, you don't tell anybody. Equals range. So it'd be the highest minus the what? Lowest. Highest minus the lowest. And then your mid-range is equal to the highest plus the lowest divided by 2. So take the highest, or the lowest plus the highest. Divided by 2. And now we start on the variance. Variance is going to be equal to this guy minus this guy. Now, If you're an Excel person, then you hit F4 here. Can anybody tell me why I hit F4 there? It locks it. F4, Fox 4, locks it. And that means that when you copy down, Excel simultaneously copies down. So if you copy down a formula over here, it's going to read wherever you're copying down, or it's going to read wherever you're getting the data from over here. So if I don't lock my mean, then for 0.72, it's going to multiply by 0.85. And 0.73 is going to multiply by nothing, because the mode, I don't have anything over there. So, I'm just telling you, for people that don't know why I'm putting it there, that's why I'm putting it there. There's that. Now we're going to copy down. Make sure it's the black cross when you pull down. Oh God, I said cross. Somebody's going to sue me. And now I've done that. Now remember, the formula for dang old variance, put it over here out of the way, variance is equal to x minus summation of x minus x bar quantity squared over n minus 1. So I just did the x minus x bar column right here. So now I'm going to take that column and do what? Square it. Because you read the formula. You don't just sit there and stare at it. You read it. So it tells you what to do. So I take this handy dandy number right here, and we're going to square it. Now you don't have to lock this one because you want it to go down. So, and we've just squared it. And now, of course, what does the big funky looking E look like? What does that mean? Sum it up. So hit that and hit enter. And there's your numerator right here for your variance. So I'm just going to go up here and I'm just going to type in equals. Go down here and grab this guy. Go back up. Divided by parentheses n, well, I'm just going to say 49 because I don't have 50 anywhere, so I'm just going to say 49, which is 50 minus 1. And then what I do to get my standard deviation, take the square root of that number, which would be the 0.5 power or 1/2 power. And there is your numbers. Now again, what do I do with that? Well, you compare it, you interpret it, and you also get your two most important numbers. The mean and the what? Standard deviation. Now I want everybody to take those two numbers and draw your normal distribution empirical rule with those two numbers. The reason I want everybody to do it by hand is because I always have the one or two students out of each class that goes, how do you get those numbers on the bottom of the curve? They always do, okay? And I want to make sure everybody knows how to do that. You take the standard deviation, and what do you do to the right? Take the mean, put it in the middle, and what do you do to the right? Add or subtract? Add what?
Standard deviation.
And then you add it again, and you add it again if it asks for 3 standard deviations. On the left of 0 is what? Positive or negative? So you subtract the standard deviation 1 or 2 times. What does the empirical rule usually go to? 2 or 3 standard deviations? Goes to 3, so that's a good practice for you to get into. And I want you to fill it out. How many percentages? 34, 34. I want you to fill it out because you need to remember that. And if you can't do it, that just solidifies that you're what? A failure. Equals, that's supposed to be, that's sense of humor is a joke, okay? Don't go home and tell your mom I told you were a failure. I didn't say that. Equals this number plus, I take the right one. Again, if you're an Excel person here, you would lock it and hit enter. And I'm going to take it to 3. That's 1, 2, 3. And over here, minus You have to be careful with that cross. It's a little bit sensitive. There. Now draw your handy dandy curve. Make sure you know the empirical rule, because they're going to have questions on the homework, and I will have questions on the test. That is just questions about the empirical rule. There's your mean. Now, 95% of the population is going to fall between what? Two standard deviations. Write that down. So in this case, 95% of the population, the normal population, is going to fall between 0.704 and what? 0.842? 9842. Sorry. Didn't say 9. Where are the outliers? Below what? 0.63, Hubert. That's right. And above? 1.05. Yes. I don't know what y'all said, because all I heard was enunciate. Any y'all sing? You know, you're supposed to enunciate. All right, enunciate when you talk, especially on a voicemail. And you answer in class. Don't sit there and go. And remember your percentages. I'm going to start recording some of the voicemails I get in my office. I'm going to start recording them, outside. I'm going to put them on YouTube. I'm going to just put voicemails I get every day. Half the time I can't understand a word you say. And then love it when people say their phone number and they say it like supersonic fast. Like to see how fast they can say it. Why do people do that? Anyway, 34%. Y'all are just not going to interact with me this morning, are you? Did y'all take pills or something this morning or what? 34%. There's something in the store called Mountain Dew. Got caffeine in it. You need to start learning to wake up in the morning, because you're going to do it the rest of your life at 8 o'clock, so you need to get used to it. 2.35. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to tell you that. I was supposed to give you some kind of prediction of a fake world, shouldn't I? Dang, I don't know what I'm thinking of. Okay, all y'all going to be movie stars. 0.15 and 0.15. Where the unicorns run around free and the sky is made out of marshmallows. Now, I have no idea what the question was asking, but I guarantee you I'm probably close to one of the answers at least. And I've done all that. I do want to show you another thing, and that is quartiles. Quartiles are very difficult. I mean, they're real hard. The first one is called the mean. The last one is called the max. The middle is called the median. Okay? But that's not what they call it. What they do is they call it quartiles or percentiles. And you got to know the difference between the two. All right? Think of it like a gas tank. Not the gas tank, because that totally screw it up. Think of it as your fuel indicator on your car. All right? Which way do we read?
Left to right.
Left to right. You've been doing it for years, okay? So this is the side we're going to start from. What side is this on your fuel indicator?
Empty.
Empty. So 0. Empty. Okay? What is this right in here? Quarter of a tank. So that's the first quartile. Quarter of a tank, first quartile. They hold quartile. Everybody can get this one. What's this one? Half full. So that is the second quartile. Okay? Or the 50th percentile. Well, if that's the 50th percentile, or this is the second quartile, okay, I'll get to that in just a minute. If that's the 50th percentile, or the second quartile, what is this percentile? The 25th percentile. Everybody has quarters in their pocket. Quarter, 25 cents. The 25th percentile. And then the last one, or the second to the last one, this is your third quartile right in here. Your third quartile, or the what percentile? 75th percentile. I'll just write that one and then y'all can fill in the other ones. 75th percentile. Now these two right here are the same thing. They're just called different things. So don't get them mixed up. And of course, over here is full, which means 100%. So it's real easy to remember it if you remember it with a fuel indicator. Unless you can't read a fuel indicator, and then we won't talk about that. So, the min. Well, that's pretty simple. If you miss it, please don't tell anybody. 0.71. Max. Somebody tell me what it was down there. Anybody know? Okay, I'll have to go down and find it. And then I don't know if y'all answered, and all I heard was no. Point what? 98? Thanks for y'all's interaction. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Y'all suck. 0.98. And the median is point what?
85.
0.85. Now we just have to find the median of the median on the top and the median of the bottom. I saw that. That was beyond. I saw that. I saw that one too. That's one. Two more and I'll throw you out. Okay, so I got to find the median of the median. So what I want to do is you see the, I'm going to pull it down just a little bit if it'll let me. You see the two highlighted? You see the two highlighted down there? All right. This number, the median, is right here. Okay, it's in the middle of those two numbers. So I want you to count how many numbers is above that dot. Well, 25. All right, so it's 25 odd or even. So you just got to find the what? The middle. So you count up, what, 12? And then that next one, number 13, that's your middle. So let's count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's your first quartile, 0.78. And then y'all didn't copy them, so we got to go down. So let me pull it down again. This is a pain. I hope that's, it is. So here is that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 0.89. And this right here is called your quartiles. Or your what? Percentiles. Remember, they can be called either one. Now, what do you do with that? You do a box plot. So, what is a box plot? A box plot is a number line in a box. The number line consists of your min, max, and midpoint. So, you take your handy-dandy marker and you draw a number line. So, draw a number line. Make sure you put the bars at the end, because in your homework, there's actually questions, and the answer, the multiple choice answers, one of them do not have bars on the end. And if you put that one, you get it wrong because it has to have bars on the end. It has to have a finite point. So, what goes on this side? Well, the min, 0.71, okay? 0.98 goes here. 0.71 goes here. Midpoint goes right there. Midpoint is the same thing as the middle of a number line. Oh, I'm sorry, the mid-range is the same as the midpoint. So somebody, did y'all write that down? What is the midpoint or mid-range? Somebody write it down?
It's the highest number plus the lowest number.
Yeah, did y'all write down what I calculated?
No. Losers. I'm busy writing down stuff.
What's our mid-range? Mid-range is 0.85. So you put 0.85 right here. Now that takes care of this information, takes care of this information, and it takes care of that. So those three things, the mid, the max, and the mid-range, make up your number line. Now, number line really has no mathematical value. What is the purpose for a number line?
To show that.
To show data, to locate numbers. That's what a number line is for. So you've established a number line, but the problem is you don't have any graduations. So you need to do some graduations. You need to interpolate. Okay? And no, that's not a word I just made up. Interpolation is within. Okay? Interpolation is within the points. What's extrapolation?
Outside.
Outside the points, that's when you predict. Okay? Interpolation is when you find the middle of the middle of the middle. Extrapolation is when you extend the line to where you think it's going to be. Okay, so what is the difference between 71 and 85? They go 14? I'm asking. Half of 14 is what? 7. So this is going to be 78. And 7 from 92 is what? 98 is what? 92. Now find the middle of those numbers. I usually carry it 2 or 3 times because it's hard to plot on a number line from negative 20 to 0 to 20. So you've got to fill in those places so you can plot. Unless you want to suck at it, and then you'll pretty much suck at it because you'll be guessing. So you need a place to put the numbers. So I'm going to go, half of 7 is what? 3.5. So I'm going to take 3.5 and add, no, you don't need to add 3.5. Just add 3. It's close enough for government work. What are you doing? Are you building the space shuttle or are you sketching a graph? Okay, you're sketching a graph, so you only need 3. You don't need 3.5. So 3, 71 cents plus 3 cents, 74 cents. That's good enough for government work. 78 cents be 81 cents, right? 88 cents. 95 cents. Now you've got enough to where you can what? You can sketch. Now I'm going to take a different color. Take red. And I'm going to do my first quartile. Red and red. 0.78. 0.78 is right here. Now you can put the box on the number line or you can put it above the number line. Doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm going to put it above it because I don't like to write it on top. So there's the, I'm sorry, wrong place. Right here. Now, did y'all just see that? I just flipped it over and it became eraser. Now, 30 minutes from now, when I flip it over, it's going to be pink. And I don't understand how it does that. When I even use pink. I don't understand how it does that. But we've had so much training on these boards. 2 years ago, we got these boards. You know when they gave them, you know when they put them in? 2 days before the fall semester. How much training do we have?
None.
None. Still to this day, we have asked for training on these things. I'm one of the few that actually use this board. Does anybody else take classes here? like an English class or anything? Do they use this board like I do? They probably don't even touch it.
They spend so much money on it.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. We got the people that are in our faculty staff, that teach you classes and stuff, they're T-Rexes. So it's kind of hard to promote technology when you can't use it. I'm so irritated like that. Anyway, I'll shut up. I'm venting. Third is 0.89. So it goes right here. I hope y'all are using your phones for calculations and not texting, because I'd hate to have to embarrass some of y'all. Okay? Please. Unless you need medication or something. All right? And I'm going to take the green and I'm going to put the median, 0.85. Now, you can take any color or black and do your box. It doesn't matter, but I'm just trying to associate the marks with the numbers over here, okay? And that's how you do a box plot. Now, you'd be surprised on how many people have told me they always wondered how to do a box plot. Well, that's how. It's real simple. You draw the number line, you graduate the number line, and then you draw the box. The box consists of the only 3 numbers that are left, which are the quartiles. Okay? That's how you do it. Now, you can do all this on your calculator, but it takes a little bit of what? You have to actually work at it on your calculator. First, you have to type in all those numbers in order. And you do that through stat and edit. Now, I'm not going to do all of those numbers. I'm not doing all that. Okay? So what we'll do is I'm going to take a minute and we're going to jump over to the calculator. So get your calculators out. Some of y'all on the calculator drill team, you can get them out and do your synchronized that y'all practice in school. I wonder why we got cash register people that can't make change. Let's go over to the handy dandy technological calculator. And type in, now these are I'm teaching people that don't know how to do it, okay? Those of you that twirl it around on your finger, I'm not worried about y'all, okay? Hit stat and edit. Now write down in your notes that when you hit stat and edit, you're basically opening up the calculator spreadsheet, what I just used on Excel. You're opening up the same thing. L1 is column A. L2 is column B. So if you're an Excel person, you're probably not going to use this, but if you do, you type in the numbers here. Type in, I'm just going to use test grades. 75, 80, 81, 81, 82, 85, and 90. Okay, there's our test grades. Now, if you were in the last problem, you would have to type in 50 of those, and you have to type them in order, or you can type them in. I'll show you how to sort. So you type them in, you go back to stat, so write this down, stat, and then sort A, ascending. Okay, I'm going to say a biblical word here. I hope nobody sues me. Ascension. What is ascension? Going from the ground up to the sky. I'll say rocket for some of y'all that don't want me to say biblical people. Okay, rocket. All right? A rocket starts from the bottom and goes what? To the top. So what happens to the elevation when he starts at the bottom and goes to the top? It climbs. You start at 0, you get end at 10,000. Ascending order. So type ascending. Now, some calculators are defaulted to go to L1 and L2. Some are not. So I don't know. I'm going to type in L1. So you type in second and L1, which is usually above the 1. Close parentheses, enter. And it's done. Now, the way you practice that is put in a bunch of numbers and not in order, then go through stat and sort A and then hit it and see if it does it. Okay? Now they're in order. Now go to stat calculate, and hit number 1. Then it's going to ask you for which cell, which column, and you say second L1. Some of your calculators are already defaulted and they say L1, and that's good. Hit enter. And you're looking at X bar and sex. Oh my God, I can't believe he said sex. SX. See the SX right there? All right? That is your standard deviation. I don't know why they just don't put SD, but they put SX. So X bar and SX. That's your two numbers. But the good thing is, look here. Go down, and there's your quartiles. Now, some of your calculators are not defaulted to do the quartiles. You have to. There's something you can go in and turn on, and I don't know. You have to Google it. A student told me a couple of semesters ago, and I done forgot it. But you have to go into the list. You have to go into second list, which is second stat, and you have to type in something, and I don't know what it is. I'm sorry, I suck. So, and that's how you get the quartiles. Now, to Boxplot, which really is not very good because you can't tell much on it because it puts it so far up in the first quadrant, you really can't tell much, but I'll show you how to do it. Go to y is equal. Go to stat plot. Second y is equal. Second y is equal. Damn Russians. Okay, second quit. There. Go to second y is equal. Hit enter. Turn on. It's already defaulted to a scatter plot, which that's all you need, but you can do a box plot right here. You can do it with a dotted line, or you can do it with, that's good right there. Hit enter. It's defaulted to L1, so all you have to do is hit graph. After you put in the box plot, hit graph. Like I said, you're not going to see it. So you go up to zoom, and I think there's a statistical zoom, 9, and hit enter. Now, like I said, it's hard to read it because you don't have the graduations there. So you hit trace, and trace should work on it. And there's your data. So you can't use it for time. If you have like a minute left on the test and you've waited and did the 50 number problem last, I wouldn't even try to do it on this because it would take too long. At least you could get it in order and find the mean and standard deviation before you could type in these if you use the little button to transfer it over to Excel. So, 6 of one, half dozen the other. It's up to you what you want to use. You need to use one of the technologies, the Excel spreadsheet or the glorified one. What's it called? StatCrunch. You either need to use that or you need to use your calculator for the ones with the largest, amount of numbers. That's up to you. I don't think you want to do it by hand. Okay? Now, I don't know what that question was asking. We'll go back to it and look. It's probably done logged me out. Golly, what a surprise. Let's see if it... One day I'll be in a wheelchair. One day. Be nice. 120. That was the first question. Now, a lot of you say, well, that's just one question. Yeah, that's one question. But how many sections did I do? I did about 3 or 4 sections of work. All right? That's the way I like to do those questions because, like I say, if you do them over and over like that, when you take the test, nothing will surprise you. So, what do they ask for? The standard deviation. What was my standard deviation? Did anybody write it down? I'm sorry, what?
0.069903.
0699, which is 07, right? I get a prize. Okay, they're going to ask you to, is it symmetrical? Pretty much. So I would say it's either B or C. And the empirical rule can be used when a bell-shaped curve is approximate. Now remember, I said something about that little one right there, and that's questionable. Some mathematicians would say no, but I'm going with yes. What does this say? Oh God, this is that question I did the other day. Oh my gosh. Okay, we did this in class the other day. Use the empirical rule to determine the percentage of candies between 0.704 and 0.984. Well, you can pull up the curve that you actually drew, and you can do that. Okay. So I think we did this the other day, did we not?
We did.
Okay, good. I'm not doing that again. This is a good homework problem, and if I was to give you the 50 questions up, the 50 numbers, I wouldn't ask you 15 parts, okay? I think 15 parts is good for a homework problem, but not a test question. It would be like find the mean and standard deviation or find the quartiles, and that's it. So if I do give you that one on the test, then y'all are welcome to call me all kind of names, because I try not to put that type of, I hate questions like this, especially when they ask little elementary questions. All right? So to me, this is what is most important with this question, is the standard deviation or the mean. Okay? Let's see what other questions we got. I'm looking. Let's see, this one, 3.25, 3.2, so I don't know what this one, I want to get one that has 5 or 6. Okay, this is a good one. This one has 5. So what I do is I take this, I dang old copy the clipboard. Yep. I go over here, pull up my handy dandy one that I've already made, and put them right here. But I got to go into, since I right protected it, I'm going to go over here first, and I'm just going to paste. Really? Control V.
You might have needed to press done on the previous page.
Oh, I didn't do it? Okay, let me do it again. Done, thank you. And then go back to Excel. Pick a blank Excel, copy it, because I've right protected the other. I'll tell you what that means in just... Why isn't it doing it? Okay, I'll do it again. It's never done this. I did it yesterday for the 103 and it was fine. We all know whose fault it is. Let me try it again. Let me go copy to clipboard and done. And it's not doing it. I bet I know why. Because of this guy. Right protected. Let me get out of this. I don't want to get out of this. I want to just, well, it's not. It's supposed to go right here, and I don't understand. Anybody got any clues? It's not doing it. All right, let's do this then. Don't save. Let's go and do this. Copy, open in Excel. Open. Okay, I don't know why I had to do that, but now put in order, data, and copy, and put in this one right here that you've already made. Just put it right here and hit paste. And then there's your answers. Now, this requires, I made this for the 103 class, and I'll send it to y'all because I know some of y'all are allergic to work. And, typing all this in would just be a lot of work. So I'll send it to you. It only does 4, 5, 6, and 7. So if you want to add any more to it, you need to make another spreadsheet. I did write protect it. The reason I write protect it is because some of y'all could break an anvil with a banana. Okay? So I write protected so y'all can't what? Break it. The only thing you can input is these numbers. You can't even sort. It won't let you sort. So you have to sort it in another page, and you can put in the mode. The rest of them you can't touch because y'all would break it. And I don't mean y'all, I mean just students. Okay? Question. Great. Complaint. All right? So I do not do the quartiles. Why do I not do the quartiles for 4 numbers? Because there's 5 quartiles. You can't put a 10-inch foot in a 5-inch shoe. Okay? You can't get a 5-number summary out of 4 numbers. That's kind of like, what is the probability of rolling a 7 on a die? Spell mom backwards. I get people to miss the probability of rolling a 7 on a die. They put 1/6. And these people procreate. Let's do a nerd. Let's do, just type it in right here, 7. Let's do test grades in this class, or test grades in one of your classes. Let's do 75, 80, 81, 85, 90, 92, and 100. And there is your data. Now notice, look at your numbers. Look at the 86. Look at the 85. Look at the 87. What is that telling you as an observer? I don't have to show you the data. I can cover up the data. What does those 3 numbers tell you?
It's valid.
It's valid. If I throw let's say you were drunk one day and came in and took a test and you made a 21. Although some people can get drunk, study, and actually make 100 on a test. Not me. I tried both. I tried sober and drunk. Doesn't work either way. So 21, look what 21 does to 78. What's the median? 85. What's the mid-range? Now, what other relationship do you see with the 5 or 6 numbers over there? When you put in a 21, watch what happens. What was the other number? 75. Put in 7. Now watch. See if you see another correlation. All right, here we go. Okay, I'm going to do another one. Do it again. 21. And then look at 75. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Not the variance, but the... Okay, let's watch the standard deviation with 21. Right now it's at 8. At 21, the standard deviation does what? Okay, so let's talk about that. What does that mean? Because we got to interpret data. What does it mean? Because you don't see the data. If you're presented this material in a meeting, you're only given that over there. When you see, now you got to put it in relation. It's called relativity. You got to put it in relation to your numbers. What is this test system based on? What kind of a scale? 10-point scale. 100. Yeah, 100 scale, which means a 10-point scale. So a standard deviation needs to be lower than 10 because 10 is the what? It's the norm. All right? Every 10 points you get another grade. You get a higher grade. So 26 tells us that something's screwed up. And it also tells us the 3 numbers are telling you that it's not valid. But you put another number in there, 75, and look what happens. It's within the 10-point margin. So that tells you that your data is a little bit tighter. So you got to put, when you see the standard deviation, you can't say, oh, well, it's 100, so that's bad. Well, what if you're dealing with 200 and 300 numbers? You're dealing with 3-digit numbers. You have to take that into effect. So it's kind of relative. You've got to think about what you're comparing the standard deviation number to. So if your data is spread out, what's your standard deviation going to be? I saw that. That was a yawn. I saw that. It's spread out. But if your data is tight, the standard deviation is going to be tight. It's going to be condensed. So those are the 2 things I want you to get out of your data that's presented is, tight and loose as far as the 3 numbers and the standard deviation. And I can guarantee you that you sat through a probability class and probably either didn't hear that or you didn't know that. But that's the way it is. And if you think about it, it makes sense. The standard deviation would spread your bell curve out if your data is not what? Tight. But if your data is tight, your bell curve is going to be more compressed. And there is a homework question, I think, that asks that. Might be. I can't remember. All right. Who's got questions on this today? Now, I kind of jumped the z-scores. I don't know where the box plot is, but I think the box plot is either in 3.4 or 3.5, whatever chapter we're on. What chapter are we on? Because the other one's in chapter 6. We're in chapter 3. Okay. So another book is chapter 5 and 6, and this book is 1, 2, and 3, and I get them mixed up sometimes. So this is 3.4 or 3.5. I've either skipped 3.5 or I hadn't got to 3.5 yet, or whatever, z-scores. And that's usually the last thing I cover. Why do I cover z-scores last? It's because you take a jump from regular statistic mathematics, which we've done, and you jump into another form of mathematics. So instead of giving it to you in the middle of the basic mathematics, I do it at the end where you can let this soak in, and then we go into the z-scores. Okay? So, any questions so far? So everybody should be working on what math is this? Well, I mean, what section was this? Did somebody write down the homework question?
Or 3.2.
3.2. So I think this is probably 3.2 and 3.4, but you need to look in your book and see where it introduces your quartiles. Can anybody got a book? Look in 3.3 and 3.4 and see where it starts bringing in the quartiles. If you don't mind, I'd appreciate it.
3.4 is determinate intercept quartiles.
Okay, that's it. 3.4. What's 3.3? Okay, good. Then I'm right on schedule. What's 3.5?
The 5-number summary in Boxplot.
Okay, what's 3.5? Is that 3.5?
Yeah.
What's 3.6? Is it z-scores? What does it say?
3.5, 5-number summary in Boxplots.
Okay, so we don't go to 3.6?
I don't think there is one.
So the z-scores are in there somewhere. They've included the z-scores in one of those sections of either box plots or
3.4, determinate intercept z-scores.
Okay. It's in there somewhere. Y'all should be able to do 90% of your homework now in chapter 3. The only thing you're not covered right now is z-scores. So that means what? If you come to a z-score question that asks for the z-score, you do what? You skip it. It's called common sense, all right? Don't try to do it. Don't send it to me because I'm going to cover that. What day y'all come back? Tuesday. All right. We've got 4, 8, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's good enough for everybody here today. Y'all get out of here. Have a good day. Good weekend, too. Keep between the ditches.